Daniel, I really appreciate that you wanted to spend a little bit of time with me because when we were chatting the other day, a couple topics came up, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is some really interesting stuff that can as I told you, really poked me when you used those two words and really got me to thinking. And I thought, let's share this with others.
Cool, man. Yeah, thanks, Teddy. Appreciate
So
that.
those that don't know me, I'm Teddy Burris. I'm a LinkedIn strategist. This is my good friend, Daniel Lobb. Daniel, remind me who you are again.
Good question, Teddy. I'm Daniel Lobb with TRP Enterprises. We really focus on workplace culture and positive culture.
Yeah. Can you define TRP, just those three words?
Yeah. So TRP, totally responsible person, which is a mindset that we teach, a mindset about how to stay optimistic, positive, and productive, no matter what's going on around us.
Yeah. And what I really like about TRP is it's not people, it's person.
Yes. Each of us are responsible for one person, right?
Yeah, I know that now, buddy. So, so look, we were talking, and so some of the things that we were talking about, one of the things we were talking about is this thing called workplace culture. And when I say those words, I'm like, man, what does that mean? I kind of think I know what it means. So I decided to go ask my buddy, and Daniel, you know who my buddy is.
Is your buddy Wikipedia?
It is Wikipedia.
Okay.
I decided to go ask Wikipedia to tell me what workplace culture is. And they changed it to organizational culture. I
Fair
get
enough.
that. And here's the definition of organizational culture according to Wikipedia. Organizational culture encompasses values and behaviors that contribute to the unique social and psychological environment of a business.
I like that.
That's intense.
Yes. Yeah, but I think that it's very good, that idea that work or organizational culture is about values and behaviors. It's not about our physical stuff. And there's a lot of mystique around, how do we create a cool culture in our company? And it's enticing to go out and decorate your office halls with unlimited snacks. I've been to workplaces where there's a barista on every floor who makes your favorite bean just the way you want it. But that's not really culture, right? That's sort of the physical aspects. And culture is more what you're talking about there, as your buddy defined it. It's those more of the intangible. It's the values and the behaviors, how we show up, how we think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, this has got to be really easy, right? But it's not. So
right.
What makes a really good organizational culture, what makes it so difficult to achieve?
Yeah, so I think when we're talking about values and behavior, there needs to be consistency. So you have to start out by defining what are the values of our organization or our business. And I think a lot of companies do a good job. Sometimes it happens accidentally. Sometimes it happens very intentionally. A lot of folks get the definition of what those values are, but taking it to the next step, we have to demonstrate that we actually believe that we show up and behave that way on a daily, consistent basis. That takes work, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to write a corporate mission statement. And it's another thing, I think you used the words the other day, it's another thing to walk that talk.
Exactly.
Live that. Yeah. And so, what's a way? What is, so we don't have this big, long lecture. What's one really cool way or effective way to start building buy-in?
So buy-in for if we want to say our culture is whatever it is now, we'll call that our starting point, but we want to make it better. We want to grow the effectiveness, the inclusiveness of that culture. How do we get started? How do we get buy-in for that? What we've seen a lot is that you have to have buy-in at all levels of the organization. So if you have an executive team who says, hey, we're going to change the culture, but nobody else believes in it, that's a no-go from the beginning. Or likewise, you can't kind of upset the top from this bottom-up revolution if you don't have buy-in at every level. So I think looking at how do you get a conversation started? Who are your natural champions of a positive culture? Maybe start there with those conversations. Practical tip might be just asking people, how do you feel when you walk in the door? How do you feel during the day here? And build on that from there.
Yeah, I get that. And getting buy-in or champions at all of the different levels, I can see that being vital, rather than just the champions at the top or the champions in the middle, or, or those who are forced to be champions in the middle.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. The word idea virus came to mind when we were talking about this. I think it's a Seth Godin book, Idea Virus. And basically, have you read this book yet?
I have not. I've got to put it on my list.
Yeah. Guess when it was written, man. Take a wild guess when Idea Virus was written.
Not 2020.
No.
2008.
2011.
Okay.
Close. But my point is, we're in a pandemic, and I'm reading this book about Idea Virus, and it was as if it could have been written yesterday.
Yeah.
And what an idea virus is sort of along the lines of building champions, getting buy-in, getting people to talk about it, be excited about it. And it starts with you used these words earlier, a quiet revolution.
Yeah, I think that is an understated ally of any kind of change. There are, we look at even just kind of bridge to society today, and we're in the midst of unearthing this history of racism in America, right? And trying to do that in a way that actually moves change and progress forward. But that's a revolution that has been hundreds of years in the making, and it's had its rises and its falls. And so the quiet revolution, it's that consistency. It's continuing to do the work to move the needle forward.
Yeah. One last point about workplace or organizational culture, Daniel. Why should I care? I mean, I pay you a daggone paycheck. I want you to come to work and do what I want you to do. Why should I care?
Yeah, Teddy, great point. And I think that's a really good question that we all need to ask, especially for business leaders, because we need to understand what's the value in that for me. And if you look at the talent pool today and all that's happening in the workplace with generations retirement, generations coming in, and now we're trying to figure out how to conduct work in a virtual environment, it's a competitive marketplace out there. So if I want to retain my top talent, I need to think about, is the culture the one that people want to hang their hat on and say, this is part of who I am? Because if you're not doing that, you're going to watch your talent walk out the door.
Yeah. And it's not just, is it the environment, and this, it's not just, is it the environment that the people want to stay, but is it the environment where the right people want to stay?
Yes.
And by the way, I hope I was being a little facetious with that question, because I really do understand the value of workplace culture.
Teddy, I'm really glad you clarified that. I was having some second thoughts there.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate this. And let's you and I talk another day.
Let's do it, Teddy. Thanks for the conversation.
All right, buddy.